You heard it first on Times Now. And now it is official. The Modi government has notified the CAA rules, thereby paving the way for minorities persecuted on religious grounds in neighboring countries to acquire Indian citizenship. Union Minister Amidst Shah and the BJP have hailed the fulfillment of yet another commitment made by the Modi government. First up, let's listen to what the Home Minister had told Times Network last month about the CAA's implementation.
अमित शाह जी, आपके अनफिनिश्ड एजेंडा पर वापस लौटती हूं क्योंकि कुछ ऐसे प्रॉमिसेस किए थे जिसमें एनआरसी और सीएए था। क्या अब ये ठंडे बस्ते में?
कुछ ठंडे बस्ते में ही है। सीएए देश का कानून है, अब इसमें कोई बदलाव नहीं हो सकता। हमें रूल्स बनाने हैं। कोविड के अप्स डाउन के कारण इसको रखा था। कोविड अब समाप्त होने को आया है। मैं आज इतना जरूर कह सकता हूं कि सीएए का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन नहीं होगा, ऐसा स्वप्न देखने वाले भूल कर रहे हैं। सीएए वास्तविकता है और इस देश का कानून है।
All right, and celebrations have also broken out in several parts of the country after the government has notified the rules of the CAA passed in 2019. The Matwa community in Bengal erupted in celebrations too. Matwas, predominantly belonging to the Nam Shudra community, had migrated from East Pakistan and later Bangladesh due to religious persecution and communal tension. Celebrations have also been seen in Bhopal and Kolkata. The BJP's hailed the CAA implementation as delivery of another key promise that was made by the Modi government.
দেখুন, আমরা বারংবার বলেছি যে সিটিজেনশিপ অ্যামেন্ডমেন্ট অ্যাক্ট অর্থাৎ সিএএ এটা তৈরি হয়েছে প্র্যাকটিক্যাল গ্রাউন্ড লেভেলে ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশন হওয়ার জন্য, এবং অসংখ্য মানুষ যারা রয়েছে ধর্মীয়ভাবে প্রতারিত হয়ে যারা ভারতবর্ষে এসে আশ্রয় নিয়েছে তাদের প্রত্যেকের জন্য এই আইন অত্যন্ত ফলপ্রসূ হবে। এবং এই আইন নাগরিকত্ব দেওয়ার আইন, একটা লোকেরও নাগরিকত্ব এই আইনের মাধ্যমে যাবে না, এটা আপনার অন ক্যামেরা আমি নিশ্চিত করে বলে দিচ্ছি।
বলছিলাম আপনার বিরুদ্ধে জগদীশ বসু নিয়ে প্রার্থী, কি বলবেন?
The opposition has been gunning for the Modi government, questioning the timing of CAA's implementation, asking the government why the rules have been notified 4 years after the law was passed. Opposition parties allege that there is polarization attempt ahead of the elections. AIMIM chief Asseruddin Owaisi resorted to fear-mongering, saying that Muslims will be reduced to second-class citizens. The IUML, meanwhile, has declared that it will move the Supreme Court.
কে নিয়ে কি করবে আমার ডাউট আছে। আমি সবাইকে বলবো চিন্তা করবেন না, ভয় পাবেন না, কোনো মানুষকে বঞ্চিত হতে আমরা দেব না, এনআরসি করতে দেব না। এনআরসি ক্যাকে নিয়ে ঝুলিয়ে পকেটে একটা কাক মেরে অন্য কাককে ভয় দেখানো, এটা আমরা করতে দেব না। এটা বাংলার সংস্কৃতি সবার জন্য।
क्रोनोलॉजी समझिए, टाइमिंग देखिए, चुनाव घोषित होने वाले हैं, 2024 का लोकसभा चुनाव आने वाला है, उसके पहले सरकार को अचानक से सोचता है कि हम ये लेकर आए। 5 साल से क्या कर रही थी सरकार, क्यों नहीं ला? इसलिए हम बोलते हैं ना कि सरकार पोलराइज करने की कोशिश कर रही है चुनाव के पहले।
With regard to this CAA notification, I wish to make it clear that we will oppose it. We have challenged the validity of the act, and that court case is pending before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has already sent communication to state government also in this regard.
Congress, meanwhile, has called the Modi government's move an attempt to divert attention from the crucial Supreme Court verdict in the electoral bond case, where the top court wrapped the SBI over non-disclosure of the poll bond details.
Mr. Modi is losing. He is going to be below 220. Therefore, he is trying to polarize it. The last weapon is CAA rules, and to divert from the real issue of electoral bonds, in which the Supreme Court of India slapped the SBI, and today they are asked them to submit the details. It's a diversionary tactics. We know that India's real issues are different.
All right, you heard Home Minister's 2022 statement to Times Network. Let's also listen to last month's statement to Times Now Group Editor-in-Chief Navika Kumar, where he said CAA will be implemented before polls.
CAA notification.
CAA देश का कानून है, इसका नोटिफिकेशन निश्चित रूप से हो जाएगा और
चुनाव से पहले के बाद
पहले ही होगा। चुनाव के पहले ही CAA को अमल में आना है, इसमें किसी को कंफ्यूजन रखना नहीं है। ये भी कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेताओं का वादा है जब देश का विभाजन किया और वहां पर ढेर सारे वहां की देश में अल्पसंख्यक जो थे, हिंदू, बौद्ध, जैन, क्रिश्चियन थे, उन पर प्रताड़ना होती थी, सारे लोग यहां भाग कर आना चाहते थे। उस वक्त कांग्रेस पार्टी का वादा था कि आप धीरे धीरे आइए, आप जब भी आओगे भारत में आपका स्वागत है, आपको नागरिकता दी जाएगी। फिर मुकर गए। और मैं आज स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं, सीएए किसी की भी नागरिकता लेने का कानून नहीं है, छीनने का कानून नहीं है। इस देश की माइनॉरिटी को और विशेषकर मुस्लिम भाइयों को भड़काया जा रहा है। देश में किसी की भी नागरिकता सीएए छीन ही नहीं सकता, क्योंकि कानून में प्रोविजन ही नहीं है। सीएए जो शरणार्थी आए हैं पाकिस्तान और बांग्लादेश से धार्मिक प्रताड़ना के कारण, उनको नागरिकता देने का कानून है, और मैं मानता हूं इसमें किसी का विरोध नहीं होना।
All right, and Assam PCC President Bhupen Bora has spoken at times now on CAA, saying that we have taken all responsibility as per the Assam Accord. We are not going to accept this law. We're going to oppose it. The alliance of 16 opposition parties will oppose it on the streets as well as the court. Listen in.
आसाम में 85 में जो आसाम एकॉर्ड हुआ था, इसका मुताबिक हमने जितना जिम्मेदारी लेना चाहिए था इतना जिम्मेदारी लिया। वो भी कहा को हम नहीं मानेगा, शिकार आसाम को भी नहीं करेगा। हमारा 16 पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का जो अलायंस है, हम लोग सब मिल के इस कहा को काल से पूरा अपोज करेगा। कोर्ट में भी हम फाइट करेगा, रूट में भी फाइट करेगा। Definitely, you see, Congress will, people of Assam will give befitting reply to BJP in the ballot box.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, let's go across to our guest. Joining us with us is Tuin Sira, national spokesperson of the BJP. Yuvraj Pukarna, columnist, is with us. Tehseen Purawala, political analyst, joins us. Dr. Shantanu Sen, member of parliament and national spokesperson of the TMC, with us. Abdul Basid, leader of the RJD, also joining us on the broadcast. Let me start with you first, Dr. Shantanu Sen. You heard the Home Minister there. The rules have now been notified. We are seeing, of course, celebrations break out in certain parts. I'm sure there would be protests also in parts of the country. But the BJP is basically saying this. The BJP is saying that this is misinformation being spread by opposition parties, that this is not a law to take away citizenship. It is only to grant citizenship to the persecuted. Your response to that?
We have been listening to this Honorable Home Minister since last 5 years. This bill was bulldozed in the month of December 2019 and which was supposed to be completed by June 2020. Unfortunately, despite having President's action, they took 9 extensions to frame the rules and it took 5 years. And meanwhile, we have seen our learned Home Minister speaking something different inside Parliament and something different outside Parliament. He is telling something else after coming to Bengal, and when he is Assam, he is saying something completely different. During the assembly election of Gujarat, he is talking about few states, a few districts of that Gujarat only. So it's absolutely another carrot and stick issue and absolutely a jumla before the election. And our stand is very clear, which has been depicted by our Chief Minister and Supremo Madam Mamata Banerjee time and again, that those who have been staying here since long, those who have been exercising their voting rights to elect central government or state government, or those who are enjoying the constitution given facilities since long, they are all citizens and they don't need to prove any further their citizenship.
Okay.
And we have been opposing it since inception and we will be fighting it again in future also.
Okay.
And if this CA hurts that or deprives any community from any right, we are not going to accept it. We will be fighting.
Tuin Sira, the criticism coming in from opposition, one, it was implemented in 2019 or the law was enacted in 2019. Why so long to implement is one question, and there was also questioning whether this is happening just before the Lok Sabha polls with an intent to politicize. Your response?
Well, good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everybody. You know, the Tariq ka Bataoge club can, keep ranting, can keep making all kinds of attacks on us. But fact is, we may have slightly delayed it, but when we execute something, we execute it in a foolproof manner, in a way that the opposition will keep getting frustrated. Today is a historic day for India, and today marks the reiteration of our commitment towards persecuted minorities in Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Now the fact is, those political parties in India which are in the habit of persecuting Hindus in India itself through Sandesh Khali and its offshoots will never accept a law like CAA. But today let me just remind you a few things. It was Nehru who wrote a letter in 1949 to the then Assam Chief Minister, Mr. Gopinath Bordoloi, clearly advising that you must create a distinction between Hindu refugees and Muslim migrants. It was Manmohan Singh who in 2003 in the Rajya Sabha had very clearly dwelt upon the need for urgent giving of citizenship to persecuted Hindus in Bangladesh. So these people speak a different language than when they are in opposition, and when they are in power they clearly don't walk the talk. We walk the talk. Now even internationally there is a parallel. The Lautenberg Act Amendment of 1989-90 in the US very clearly provides for a similar provision of prioritizing citizenship to persecuted minorities of the erstwhile Soviet Union and Iran. So I don't think there is anything wrong with CAA. It only reiterates a commitment to protecting minorities persecuted in 3 of the places, and we have seen horrific images of persecution in Pakistan of children.
I don't think there's any doubt. I don't think there's any even debate about what happens in India's neighborhood. Persecution happens of minorities in countries across India's neighborhood. I think, Tuhin, that's not even a subject matter of debate, because, as you rightly said, there are leaders, and I'm going to quote what Prime Minister Manmohan Singh said. Tehseen Poonawala in 2003, this is what former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, of course, before he became the Prime Minister, had said that if circumstances force people to seek refuge in our country, our approach to granting citizenship to these unfortunate people should be more liberal. Why is there a shift in stance is a question that the BJP is asking. Tehseen.
Thank you, Madhav. Thank you so much for having me on the show. At the onset, I would like to clarify via medium to your viewers that I have challenged the CAA Act in the Honorable Supreme Court, and I believe the Act will be struck down, primarily for the reason what Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, the greatest Prime Minister after Pandit Nehru, said, that it is the duty of the Indian government to rehabilitate and to give citizenship to prosecuted minorities from across our neighbors. This Act, the CAA Act, passed by the BJP government, is ultra-vires of our constitution and actually takes away the rights of prosecuted Hindus. Please hear me, not Muslims. This Act has nothing to do with Muslims. Prosecuted Hindus in our neighborhood. Now, allow me to explain why. Let's assume there's a Hindu in Sri Lanka who's been prosecuted, a Tamilian Hindu. He wants to come into India and get citizenship. This act will make him wait for a longer time, whereas a Hindu who's prosecuted, say in Afghanistan, gets a citizenship faster. Let's say there's a Hindu who's prosecuted in Myanmar, Rohingya Hindu, prosecuted in Myanmar, a part of India at one point of time. When he comes into India, does not get citizenship immediately, but through the CAA, a prosecuted Hindu from, say, Bangladesh will get citizenship right away. This takes away this creates discrimination against Hindus. Point number 2. What is the reason for only 3 neighbors, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan? Why not Myanmar, which was a part of India? Why not Sri Lanka, which we have historical ties with and Hindus are prosecuted? Why not our maritime borders, Maldives and Mauritius, with whom we share a maritime borders, which are Muslim countries where Hindus are prosecuted? Why not those? Let's come to a third point. What is 31st December 2014? What is this arbitrary date? Laws can't be made on arbitrary dates. Laws have to be made on specific dates. What is 31st December 2014? Sounding good in somebody's head cannot become the law in a constitutional amendment. The last point.
There is a word called prioritization.
Already gives
there is a word called prioritization.
Okay, one second. He's quickly complete your point in 10 seconds, Tehseen, and then I go to Tuhin. Quickly complete your point.
Exactly what I was coming to. That's exactly what I was coming to. That's exactly what I was coming to. Article 6 of the Indian Constitution prioritizes Pakistanis who want to come to India. It prioritizes it. This followed the Nehru-Liaquat Pact. Guess who resigned on the Nehru-Liaquat Pact, which said minorities should get Indian citizenship? Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, he resigned against it. So the BJP, which opposed minorities from Pakistan and Bangladesh coming to India, today is chest thumping and saying, oh, we've given it. Why did you resign? And say Shyama Prasad Mukherjee was wrong.
Okay, you've made your points now. Tuhin, quick response.
No. First of all, why the 3 countries, Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh have been included and others are not? There is a word called prioritization, and India is within its right to prioritize citizens from certain countries which are being persecuted. Now, the fact is, when Tehseen mentions about Tamils from Sri Lanka not being included, he's actually proving that there is nothing communal about this act. You know, the propaganda which so many people are spreading, he's actually confirming that there is nothing communal about this act. It is a very practical act based on practical consideration of in which countries the maximum persecution takes place. And I think he was also confused between the word persecuted and prosecuted. I am referring to persecuted people. He was referring probably to prosecuted people.
All right. I think that is a fair point that Tuhin was making, but on a lighter note, perhaps it was a bit of a tongue twister. We'll give Tehseen that. Let me quickly bring in other panelists as well. I want to bring in Abdul Basit, leader of the RJD. All right, I'm told that we have a reporter joining us live. Before I come across to you, Abdul Basit and Yuvraj Pokharna, I want to quickly go across to our reporter Isha, who's joining us live from the Jamia Millia Islamia. We are told that there have been security arrangements that have been put in place. All right, I think we've lost that line again. We'll just go back to our reporter who's on ground there. Massive security deployment that has been put in place in different parts of the national capital, in northeastern Delhi, for instance, which had seen, very, very violent situations and riot-like situations even in the aftermath of the CAA post-2019. There as well, we've seen flag marches take place. At the moment, we understand that there's heightened security around the Jamia Millia Islamia, which had also seen protests following the CAA. But let me go across to Abdul Basit. Abdul Basit, किसी भी तरह से डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं है, कह रहे हैं तुहीन से ना. उनका कहना है, जो तहसीन पूनावाला बात कर रहे हैं कि हिंदूज के खिलाफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है. This proves that this is not discriminatory against any one religion. It is just a law to give hope to those who are persecuted, is what the BJP is saying. क्या जवाब देंगे अपने?
नहीं, अभी देखिए पूरा देश हिंदू मुस्लिम भाईचारे को बड़ी मुश्किल से जाके, जितना भी इन्होंने कम्युनल 10 साल से किया उसको अब सब लोग भुला के एक जर्नल जिंदगी चल रही थी, पर मुसलमानों के खिलाफ ये प्रोपेगेंडा फैलाने के लिए ही ये सब कुछ प्रोसिक्यूट रचा जा रहा है. और बिल्कुल चुनाव के बाद अब इस बार देश के मुसलमानों ने सोचा था कि इस बार इस बीजेपी को या नरेंद्र मोदी को सबको ठीक कर रहा था कि इसको क्या प्रोपेगेंडा है बताइए सर. इसे मिलने की उम्मीद थी, मगर चलिए बहरहाल इन्होंने भाजपा ने अपनी ताबूत में आखिरी कील ठोक लिए. इसके बाद इनका भाजपा का देश में कोई चाहने वाला नहीं होगा.
अब्दुल बसीत जी, फैलाए. अब्दुल बसीत जी, आप कह रहे हैं कि मुसलमानों के खिलाफ प्रोपेगेंडा, क्या प्रोपेगेंडा बताइए.
प्रोपेगेंडा बेसिक आप क्या ये सब मुसलमान देश का समझ चुका है. इतना बहलाने फुसलाने की जरूरत नहीं है. सरकार पूरी तरीके से विफल हो चुकी है. अब ये नया चुनाव से जस्ट पहले अगर ये लाए हैं तो चुनाव मतलब शेम है ऐसी सरकार पर, मतलब लानत है ऐसी सरकार पर जो इस तरीके से देश को बरगलाने की और भटकाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. इन्हें पता है कि हम लोग 2024 में बिल्कुल जा रहे हैं, तो इन्होंने एक नया एक पासा फेंका है कि देखिए पासे को फेंक के इसका क्या रिजल्ट आएगा.
Okay, Yuvraj Pokharna, I want Yuvraj to respond to the specific point that is being made by Abdul Basit. It's some kind of attempt at polarizing and he says at an anti-Muslim agenda. Those are the words that he has used. Please respond to him.
Good evening, Madhav. I'm sorry, but I failed to find any logical and cogent point in what the previous spokesperson uttered. And regarding the persecution of minorities, deeply people have commented on the same. But let me get you a crash course of the past. On 15th August 1947, on the very famous speech, Trees with Destiny, Honorable then PM Nehruji said, "Our heart goes with our brothers and sisters who are not with us to celebrate the freedom, who are on the other side of the fence. They are with us, we'll be with them, and we will never forget them." This is what Nehruji said, period. On September 16, 1947, Mahatma Gandhi ji, while addressing a crowd in the Harijan colony of Delhi, specifically said कि यदि पाकिस्तान को लगता है कि पाकिस्तान में नॉन मुसलमानों को रहने का हक नहीं है और उनको हम गुलाम बना के रखेंगे, तो इट विल बी द डेथ नेल ऑफ इस्लाम इन इंडिया. These are not my words. This is what Mahatma Gandhi said. So I thank the Honorable Prime Minister for honoring the legacy of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru.
All right. Let me quickly get a quick update from our reporter on ground. Isha is with us from the Jamia Millia Islamia. Isha, you were saying that there were some security arrangements over there. Quickly take us through what's happening.
Right, yes. In fact, a few hours ago, a protest took place inside the campus. In fact, left-leaning organizations and also the NSUI, which is a wing of the Congress, held a protest. It was on a very small scale, but currently I'm standing at gate number 7 of Jamia Millia Islamia, where we can see in the visuals that a lot of police deployment is present here. In fact, we saw that a huge bus full of cops had also come here to make sure that if in case any protester does indeed come out of the university, they can be combated with it in an absolute manner. In fact, towards the other side.
All right. So police there to ensure that the law and order situation does not get out of hand. We've seen, of course, many are seen on ground there at Jamia Millia Islamia. Thanks so much for that quick update there. Dr. Shantanu said one of the points that has been made repeatedly by the BJP and particularly to the Supreme Court, this is what the centre has said. The centre has said that there's no classification on the basis of religion, but only distinguishing on the basis of religious persecution. This is what the centre has even told the Supreme Court. Can anyone argue against that? If there is a law against those who have been persecuted?
It's another big jumla, I say, and it's another carrot and stick ploy, and it's another publicity fooling the common people at large of the country before election. You tell me why few days before the notification of election? Why not in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023? Why in 2024 just prior to the notification of election? Because BJP is once again in a mode to play the divisive politics, diverting the attention from the common burning issues from which the people of the country are suffering from. This is absolutely a jumla, and now the actual character and nature of the BJP party has been unveiled, unmasked. People will be giving a befitting reply.
Okay, Yuvraj, respond to that. Why the delay? Why could this not have been implemented last year? If COVID is the reason, then last year perhaps we haven't seen as many COVID cases, at least in the last 2 years. Perhaps 2020 and 21, the argument was valid, but certainly not for 2023, or many would say even 2022.
Where's the argument in that? The Honorable HM himself said to Navika ji that because of the coronavirus, it was delayed. The bill was delayed because of the COVID. That is one. And is the bill not constitutional? Is it not passed by both the houses? Is it not accorded by the President of India? Is it not passed according to the rules of the land? Is it not constitutional? I mean, where is the debate about? What is the fuss the opposition is creating? All that TMC and the opposition wants is anarchy. That is what the fuss is about. Now, trust me, there will be a huddle of people surrounding public places. They'll create anarchy. They'll create all sorts of disinformation, misinformation campaign. Trust me, we are yet to witness the hard times now. Before the election discuss.
All right. We'll have to leave it there. Completely out of time on the first debate. In fact, I'd like to thank Yuvraj Pokarna as well as Dr. Shantanu Sen, Abdul Basit for joining us. Tuin Sinha and Tehseen Poonawala will stay with us for debate number 2.